Okay, I want to talk about, I've been coming online to talk about certain issues that have to do with success or failure for public education for our children. Quite frankly, this is a file of our county's Focus 2024 plan, student discipline. And I just want to share with you, it's done in September, and why I became so alarmed. And so they're supposed to be working on decreasing the number of suspensions, disproportionality rates, and we just see that, when I get here to the data, that it was just a real issue for our children, really. And so when you get here, this is how many, at the current schools, but then when you get here to the subgroups, excuse me, that's why I became alarmed. You see that? 259%. And they only want to go to 194%. I mean, still over 100%. I mean, I'm just really saying, is this 2020? I mean, do I live in another world? Because I thought the intent of public education was to educate, not to document what someone can't do. But it seems here that they have it, pretty much down packed of what's been going on. And wherever you sowing seeds, that's where your harvest is going to be. So this is where their data is. And I'm going to go through this whole thing so you can see that there's no academic data in here. You know what I'm saying? And so if the educational system is about academic data, then how come we don't have academic data in this whole Focus 2024 plan? It's pretty disgusting. This is the end of it. And actually, did anybody see any data in regards to where the children were, and that 259% higher than any other ethnic group of the suspensions and expulsions, And they didn't try to they weren't going to work on it. Because, you have these behaviors when a child can't do an academic task. And they're not measuring that maintenance of effort, truly. So I'm going to pause this share. Okay, pause. Yes. And then, see this one. I need to unpause. Okay, this is the recent board meeting, and I don't know if I can make it bigger. Can I? And, I thought this board meeting was going to talk about the data, but when you listen to a board meeting online, they're talking about the data, but when you look at this right here, this meeting agenda, they really don't have any information about the data. And so, but the online presentation of the meeting is clearly a concern. So here's California State Developmental Disabilities. It just goes through what everyone's civil rights should be. And quite frankly, this is it. What does it say? Every student has the right to be safe in school and receive a quality, inclusive education with their peers. It prepares them for post-secondary education or competitive integrated employment. Every person in developmental disability should have an opportunity to be employed in the community and receive at least minimum wage. CIE is the priority outcome for working age individuals with developmental disabilities, regardless of their severity of their disability. So, but the disabilities that our children are being identified with are just not disabilities that are going to continue after high school. Because a lot of these kids, they have special education while they're in school, and might even be receiving a check, but when they get out of school, it's got to be that person or the person's parent, whatever, that continues that aid, because it stops after high school. I've seen so many young people get arrested because they were in there trying to figure out how come they weren't getting a check, and it's just what it is. Where's the guarantee? Where's the opportunity? I don't know. Let's see what else is here. This is just a statement through California. And the policy, what's it? Cindy Smith, Deputy Director of Policy and Public Affairs, and it tells you where you can find her. Sacramento. Actually, Sacramento is partnering with Nevada in regards to the developmental disabilities, because Nevada really doesn't have that kind of support. And I found this online too. And I want to say that, when you're looking at the graduation rates or Henderson, I live in Henderson, Nevada, and just want to look here for Black children. Look at that. It's such a low percent. Should we say that, this is, what should we say about that? I don't know. You don't find much information that documents, and this is opportunity zones. They have a lot of opportunity zones, but I don't think the formerly enslaved people in America, the Black folks, actually have access to a lot of the resources that are coming here federally, because where they are is they're not mentioned and no one's talking to them. And even though the investment is in their area, they are not the ones that are providing the transition, for opportunity. I mean, they don't get the opportunity to participate in that bidding process. And if you notice, this is not representing everybody, because I'm looking for people who look like me, and I might find one. I'm still scrolling. Just one Black person I'm looking for. History, and it doesn't go into the history of the Cotton Club or the Moulin Rouge. You're not seeing that there, are you? There's a little bit, but no, that's not it. Discover Henderson. They're not representing it in their brochures. Oh, there we go. That's the one person that is Black in this whole presentation. I knew I'd get to one. And anyways, they have a lot of charter schools here and private schools. Private schools that deal with alternative behavior, people who've gotten kicked out of school looking for an educational option. And there's nothing else in here. It really doesn't tell you how they're developing all of the community. And if you're to see anything, let me know. I'm going to shrink this video. Got so much stuff here that what can I say? Sometimes it just gets overwhelming that people are really not discussing the real issues of what's really happening in public education in America for all children, because all children are truly not benefiting. And when you just focus on one area, then it becomes a problem. This is the strategic budget. And I think this was supposed to be a list of essential duties and responsibilities, exhaustive, and may be supplemented, coordinates activities with the demographics, zoning, geographic information. I don't know what that is. And this is trying to see why I think I got this, because I was looking for the person who was going to deal with the Title I, and this is the one that came up, this person. Maybe just shrink this one down, because we did have another one. Non-regulatory guidance for Title I. And this really just gets into what is supplanting, what it means to supplement, and what it means to supplant. And when schools hang on to the money, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the May, they do the May revise, and then they move that money to somewhere else. But they don't document how they're supporting the children who are generating things. And I just have a real issue with that. So know that, it's the level of participation that should be expected from every American citizen. We should all care about our public school system. It's something that we should just understand that it's the people that hold accountable, true, to access and equity for all people. But if you're not going to involve yourself, you're not going to engage yourself, then I would say it's not going to happen. And that's just true. In America, every person who pays taxes need to understand those tax dollars go to implement public policy that supports the local community. But if you elect people in office and they're not holding true to their oath of office, then it's not working. It's not working for some people. And, across this nation, it's not working for Black people. And I just have a real problem with it because it's not something that's happening. I see some entertainers want to talk down to the children and act like the children are really just not trying, not attempting to do well. But then they don't understand that if these children are not reading by the third grade level, well, God, they're never going to get there. And no one's going to ensure that they make progress because it's something that Black people don't do. It's like Thurgood Marshall. The Thurgood Marshall story was online, and it used to be on Netflix, but I don't believe it's on Netflix anymore. But the real deal is that, what should we say? We should say that life is not easy. And quite frankly, what should we think about the demonstration of the maintenance of effort when we're talking about when we're just basically talking about how did it happen? How do they ensure that access happened for any children or all the targeted subgroups? And how are they, how are they demonstrating that they're supporting people? I just get so frustrated. I'm kind of trying to understand why. It says this was a suspension, and I don't even see it. I don't see that. Expulsion, suspension. And really, I just want to know, what are they doing in regards to the maintenance of effort for children who are in poverty? How are they demonstrating that they're supporting them? And at the schools where there's a lot of money that's left over, carry over, I just want to know what they did to ensure that all children are having access. And I just can't seem to get those questions answered. They have a lot of money. A lot of money goes into public education. So we have to understand that even though we're putting money in, we are being limited the ability to share our concerns in regards to the support that's being provided to our students. And all public information is really public. You know what I'm saying? They pay the bills. And but they're supposed to also ensure access. And it's not something that's happening. And I can truly, attest to that, not for all children. You don't know what you don't know. That's what I'll say. You just don't know what you don't know. And that's the truth. But all of us as American citizens, it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's just an American thing. And when you have public services, they need to be functional. And everybody can see during this time of epic change in America that certain people had no access or had limited access, very limited access. And then what happens? You know what I'm saying? When you have limited access, it's just real. Somehow, we're not ensuring that access happens for all children. I just would like to know, what was it that the United States Department of Education or the federal government gave us the right to education in the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment? But what was the maintenance of effort for Brown versus the Board of Education? And how many children are actually being accepted in public schools? It's acceptance. It's a lot of people that feel that they don't have a responsibility simply because so many children come to school and they're not just prepared, they're just not ready. But no one's going to get them ready either. That's what you need to understand. I don't believe that we understand as a people the level of support that has to be given to local economies when they're providing services for people who look like you. We don't understand it because it's a level of maintenance that we've really not been involved in. Now we can see that we've really not been involved in these things. And our children are going off getting an education and coming back with degrees, but have no jobs in our community. The failure's just been accepted. And it's okay to shoot down a young person that's African American or formerly enslaved person or ADOS or what black or whatever you want to, whatever. We're just Americans. But the reality is that what happens when you're unable to advocate for the services that you should expect that are protected by the federal government with the reasonable assurances that all children have access. That's my concern, and I'm going to keep on blogging about this. I'm hoping to draw some attention to it because I don't understand why right before this pandemic happened, we were talking about willful defiance issues and the number of kids who were being suspended and expelled. And you just don't get to a 259% rate of suspension expulsion without having that media attention. I don't know how the support is provided to children in higher poverty schools simply because they have a lot of non-permanent positions there, temporary positions. They don't measure the maintenance, and they do just some kind of training or STA, some kind of teams, student that's supposed to include the community. But when you go to CCSD, and then you look at their single plans for student achievement, you can't measure the maintenance of effort. You can't see what anybody is doing in regards to the children who are generating the Title I dollars. And it just concerns me that there's no ability to understand what should be happening in the community, less known how they're even addressing the issues of the children in juvenile hall and their access to educational options. Because quite frankly, under the Every Child Succeed Act, under the Barack Obama, those children were supposed to have real, meaningful, support. I don't even know. A long time ago, I created this one right here. Public education is for what? What would it be? What will it be for our people? Public education is a local issue. It's kind of like prison or independence for Black people. So what do you say about that? What does that look like? Prison or independence? I can tell you that. What can I tell you? On this page, I've been here for years. And actually, all the complaints that I've ever filed, basically, most of them are here. And I uploaded them so people can read, like who, what, and IEP, time limits, assessments, evaluation. Come on now. Equity and accountability. I've been around for a long time. This was in 2013. And nothing's changed. It seems that my voice is really not going to go far because there's so few that are engaging. It seems like after they get their children, most of our families who are athletes or whatever, once their children get through, they don't go back and look back. It's just like when people move out of the hood, they ain't going back to look at you. And just like Snoop says, I'm living my best life. Ain't got time to deal with you niggas. And that's so real. But if we don't start looking around and accept responsibility for people who look like us, it's just going to be us who are not included in the future. I mean, I just don't see it. Right before this pandemic, we have to realize that, what was it? The Clark son, Monty Clark? The Clark son in Sacramento, the one child that got shot in the grandmother's backyard. And, I watched that video over and over again, but I lived in the area for so long, my whole life. And I understand. They never gave him a chance. As soon as they came around that corner, it was dun, 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 blah, 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 and shot him in the back. I mean, come on now. But then once they kill our children, then there's no efficacy. And even if they have to file and pay small penances, it was a life taken from a family. And this man, though young, had children already. But I don't know what we say as a community when we don't ensure that basic opportunity is provided for all children. Because you can't expect people to bathe in any kind of normal way if they don't have access to resources. After 12 years in public education, they get out, can't find a job, can't read, and can't write, and basically have come through the system and just been put on social promotion kind of like thing. Everybody feels like, oh, social promotion, but guess what? Under IDA 204, 2004, under IDEA, it's ideal under the special education, whatever, regulations. Every child should have a right to have access. Well, that was supposed to ensure that some training happened. But I just don't know how when you get professional development, it don't help the children who are creating the funds for professional development. And these people here just give scholarships, honey, and then pay for their additional support, their additional expertise. But guess what? They don't want to work where they're getting that training from. So I don't get it. I don't get it. How come here we are in 2020, and Brown versus the Board of Education did happen. There was no requirement in the law to do a maintenance of effort to demonstrate or to ensure that integration actually took place. But you have all these monies that are out there to help provide that additional engagement, and guess what? You figure out how to steal it anyway. Because behavior is the only reason, because that's, I guess, the part in the 13th, 14th, 15th minute. Somehow, if you get cited for a crime or something, you don't have no rights. Once you're a felon, you have no rights. But what happened to the people who stole the rights of the people who should have had an opportunity initially? And so many children who are not reading by third grade. What is that all about? It's just real. And so, we have a personal responsibility. We all should accept it. And that would be to ensure that, all children are making adequate progress. You know what I'm saying? In the public school system. This report right here was done so long ago. And there was a video, I have a video of the meeting that happened. But here it is, this analysis of an infant death mortality rate. From 1990 to 2009, Sacramento County did it. And when you go down, you're going to find out that it's African Americans or Black Americans who have the highest infant death mortality rate. And it's just real. This volume right here, oh, I can see it. And then the video should be recording. But you just keep scrolling down till you get to the data. And the data see, in the 20 years, African American children have consistently died at a disproportionate rate of 102% per 100,000 compared to Caucasian children who die at 48% of 100,000. It really doesn't matter. I'm just saying, okay, we know this data, but guess what? Our people didn't bring up this conversation. It was the County Board of Supervisors. But then the conversation, we had it in the areas with the general public. But the conversation just wasn't driven from the people. And my concern is that the conversation is not driven from the people when we're looking at accountability and the outcomes of public education, especially in the larger cities where there's more minority people or more children of color. And then there's just no accountability. How is it that the federal government could just turn its back and then these children are never becoming functional citizens because they become like dependents? And, you can say you provide this support for neglected and delinquent, but if you don't have the outcomes and the data to demonstrate you even had a basic minimal level of maintenance of effort, this is just bullshit. And, the bullshit is that, you go to school and you learn this Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But where is the justice for the formerly enslaved? Where is it? Because it's just us when it's okay to shoot somebody down in the street because you gave them a warning and they failed to comply. And what does your level of education have to be for you to be the executor? Quite frankly, there is no level because you're paying people because these people are shooting people. And what can I say? It's one of the reasons I feel that, this pandemic is happening. People are just not God like. I mean, not living to, any basic principles of, come on, values. I don't get it anymore. Everyone should have a basic right. But for some reason, we've just left all that out. And so, there are some people that, even if you complain about certain things happening, nothing changes. And this neglected and abused people, these children who end up in foster care, but then when they get out, they have no resources because there's nothing been created for them. And even if it has been created, guess what? A lot of them still don't have basic access. And my problem is a lot of these children who are ending up in foster care, a lot of their parents have had 5 or 6 children in foster care, but people are just collecting those children and buying them houses. I mean, it's the amount of money that is paid for when people are in the foster care program that's concerning me. But anyways, they go through the death mortality. And if, all this is, and this is in the poor neighborhoods, but, we're living in an information age. We're living in an age where knowledge is power. We're living in an age where if you understand your rights, you can demand that you exercise your rights. And my concern is a lot of people just don't understand that irregardless if it doesn't really matter. We got dropped here. We're here. And as we are here, we have to accept the responsibility to show up and demand accountability because that's what voices are for. But if you keep on saying your voice don't matter, don't worry, it damn sure is not going to matter. It's just not going to matter because if you don't show up, then other people will show up for you and talk about what you need. You know what I'm saying? It's just we have failed as a community to force the system to protect our rights. And that would be the system would be the federal government because it's the federal government that collects the taxes. And let's not pretend that we don't have entertainers that pay a lot of money and sports people that pay a lot of money in taxes. And those taxes don't go federally, but also come back to local communities to provide all these wonderful services that everybody seems to have access to, except for us. It's just us. So anyways, there's no justice when it's just us. And it's something I have to keep on talking about until somebody else is talking about it too. So I'm seeing more and more conversations about the failure of the public services and why we have so many Americans who are formerly, of the enslaved population. That's what you guys like to call it, ADOS or Black Americans or colored. My birth certificate used to say colored, but then when I requested a new birth certificate, it said Black. But who cares? Should have said American. That's what it should have said. Because that's what I'm standing on. The American. Anyways, it just shows you the death rate. And this is for my children. My goodness. Because we have the highest. This goes into the zip codes of where the deaths were. And it's just real. Because you're not here anymore. It just doesn't matter. Once you're not here, you're not here. So anyways, know that I don't think that Nevada's done one of these. But truly, what can I say about what Nevada's done? I don't think Nevada's done a lot of anything. But we have to accept responsibility that we have to do for ourselves, and that's just real. We'll close some of these windows. I always have way too many open. So I can't see what I need to see. Anyways, the reality, share screen. No, let me go to would like to have a little file there. All right. Let's look at this. Family First Prevention Services Maintenance of Effort Requirements. So what is the MOE requirement? Just what is that? The state must continue to spend at least the same amount on prevention programs as it did in the baseline of 2014 to October 2013, September 2014. The requirement encourages states to use Title IVE prevention funds to supplement current funding as opposed to supplementing state funds with federal funds. So, they're telling you how to do it, right? But then it's kind of like, what happens when, the rates of the children just get so out of control for the willful defiance and compliance issues. Is compliance what the American dream is all about? I just need to know, because it seems like compliance is what they are collecting across America for children who are Black or formerly enslaved or African Americans or whatever you want to call yourself, colored. Okay. Just remember, people of chocolate skin or the darker hues are not being encouraged to participate or make progress. I mean, some are just gifted. We always had a talented 10. There was always a talented 10% of the population that was so gifted and they're silly. But I'm just concerned about that other percentage. Just like, one of the board members said in one of those meetings when they were concerned about the Alice Dawson kept on saying they took 2 children from a middle school environment, and gave that program over $20,000 for a summer school program for 2 children, but they didn't have anything for the 700 or 698 children that were left that didn't have any services. And then to talk about how it was for a credit recovery program, I mean, let's not tell a lie. Let's talk about what the maintenance of effort should be. And so, anyways, it just says, at the time of submitting your initial 5-year prevention program, there should be, prevention programs in place. But what does that look like? I need to know. And then, it talks about TANF. It talks about, other monies that can be like Medicaid. When you have Social Security and have children with disabilities, some of that money could come from Medicaid. But if you're not doing paperwork correctly, you're just screwing up for everybody. Because, Nevada has an Air Force base here, Nellis. So that's different money. And then they have a Native American reservation here. Oh, that's different money from the federal government. Then plus all the poverty here. That's different money. But then all they focused on when they were getting ready to do the commission on school funding was the rural schools, rural area schools, small schools, and how that they could go down to a population of 7 children. 7! With the principal and all that other support. 7. And then, to know that there's all these other children where they can't demonstrate the maintenance of effort, but then to understand the number of children who are going to juvenile hall is concerning. So I have to keep on talking about this concerning, whatever you want to call it. I guess I have to wait for this one to pop up on my Zoom so I can save it to my computer, because it's changed, and now Zoom doesn't let you save to to your computer without uploading to their site. I guess they want to make sure they get the content, so, hey, everybody's doing a little something. But anyways, I'm gonna stop this share for now and upload it somewhere. So everything else here is really good. I mean, come on now. As of November the 30th, assurances, and then whatever this is, there are no programs approved in this prevention services clearinghouse, but the following programs should be considered: parent-child interaction therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy, multi-systematic therapy, functional family therapy, motivational interviewing, family facing to the future. What is this? Methadone maintenance therapy, nurse family partnerships, healthy family America, parents as teachers, child home society in New Jersey, kinship, whatever. I mean, those are just different ways that other people have included services. But I just look at this picture and look at how that family first prevention services, and look at the people that are presented here. Are you checking that out? People of color, even Asian or Black. I don't know. Could be many different cultures. Definitely multicultural. I have other things open down here. Let me see what else I have open. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that. This is the one that's just so concerning. We should concern ourselves as a community, because This represents the work that's actually being done here in Clark County. But see the focus? 2024. That means shit is not going to change unless you stand up so that we can change it. So I'm going to stop this video for now. Come back another time when I'm more full of energy. And until then, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I do have a YouTube channel. Or follow me on Facebook, because I am on Facebook. This one, I have this room, but then I have created a couple other rooms, but I am on Facebook. Just add me to your friends list, or you can only find YouTube. If you just follow me on YouTube, I have to go to YouTube to wait for all this to show up. And I just want you to know that if you follow me on my YouTube channel, then I have lots and lots of videos for over the time that, the past 20 years, education is real. And so knowledge is real too. And where I've been, most people have not been. And so that's what I'm saying. I've done things that other people have not done. And I've been places that other people have not been. And so you say all my videos and just look at them and then pick a subject that you might want to know about. And I'm trying to address, support and what it looks like in the public school system, or I'm just pretty much all over the place when we're talking about public schools or public services. And, like this one, I got to play this one so that you can understand that.
I'm going to ask a couple audience questions. I only have a few minutes, but Steve, I won't put you on the spot since you just took a lot of heat. I'll put you on the spot at the end. This is a job, it's just come up a few times in here. What role should the police department have?
Oh, what's happening?
I'm going to broaden into the city as well, play in ending the school to prison pipeline. Broad question, I know.
I mean, no one gets to prison if they don't go through a cop. So, I feel like funneling our youth through law enforcement, suspension rates, discipline in schools that are unequally exercised against Black students, perception of Black children and adults by teachers. It's not enough to identify that bias exists. We have to do something about it. And as long as we allow our schools to be breeding grounds for criminal charges and police oversight and injection of law enforcement, we're going to keep funneling our young Black men into prison. We want to break the school to break the connection between school discipline and law enforcement. And the first thing when I represent a juvenile in court, one of the first things that I get to determine the judge is going to use to determine how serious they can handle this person's case is their school discipline report.
Thank you.
Your kid was tardy a bunch of times, or they had trouble sitting still, or they didn't do well in a classroom that wasn't built for them, right? It ain't the kid's fault. Right? If we can't adjust young Black children in our schools, that's our problem, not their problem. And the longer we try and treat them like they're doing something wrong and disciplining them and creating paper trails, that shit follows them their whole lives. So you want to stop the prison to school pipeline, the school to prison pipeline. Right now, my husband works for Dr. Prince White works for an organization called Urban Peace Movement. And they recently met with some Alameda County officials who shared that on their first day on the job, they've been approached by the private prison industry. And what the private prison industry uses to make projections, business projections going forward, right, are the passage rates of reading in schools, right? Black children can't read, they're seeing dollar signs for the future of the private prison industry. So what we need to do is invest in our youth and stop criminalizing them as children. Break the connection, right, between what the school can do and what law enforcement can do and what the district attorney can do. Okay, now I'll get you started.
No, this is another question.
Well, when I heard that, I just had to, I had to record it. I had to document it. I had to document it, and then I had to understand that no matter what I was doing, there was just not enough of people who looked like me, who were out there saying, and and even if they're not, look, What are we saying here? It's the discipline, records that follow students all the way to juvenile hall. So they might have 200 pages or 500 pages by the time they get to juvenile hall. But guess what? When they can arrest a student, a special education student can be arrested in Sac City Unified School District without notification of parents, without having a manifestation hearing, just with an allegation of something that took place off school site, because the SRO officer was investigating that is inside the school, be taken to juvenile hall, booked, disenrolled, and hey, facing a year without even having a meeting. I mean, that happened to a student I was supporting. I had to just fly off the handle and demand that we have something, intervention, something going on. I need to know what was going on. But by the time I finished writing my letters of concern and getting the mother involved, quite frankly, they released him. But he's still on a probation thing. And guess what? The juvenile hall people are still working with him, and he never had a trial. It's as if he was guilty, regardless of having a trial. So that's, he's already having punishment implemented, and he had to wear an ankle monitor for more than a month. Hey, they're just waiting for him to mess up because he received Social Security. And when you go to juvenile hall and you receive Social Security, because he did qualify for ultra regional, that money would have transferred to the county, and that's money that they wouldn't have had to pay out. I don't know how we should look at this. We should look at it by the maintenance of effort and the end data outcomes that all the states are producing, because we have to ensure that access happens for our children. It's a personal responsibility. Especially it just gets on my nerves when I hear people who are wealthy act as if these children can make a change for themselves just by wanting to desire to do better. How do you do better if you don't know how to read? And who's ensuring that the system is functional? Not a goddamn soul. Nobody. Nobody is ensuring that the system is functional. Nobody is talking about, let me take that back. Maybe the Black Caucus and maybe some of the elected officials are starting to have a conversation. But I know that Barack Obama, he did put some things in place with Every Child Succeed Act. But what did the people do to ensure that that continued? Now we got Betsy DeVos, and she's creating opportunity grants that you don't even have to have you don't even have to be poor to qualify for. Any child can apply for one of those. But come on now. We have to know that, life has happened. And this was a great, I'm gonna play it. When we got 40, whatever. If you don't have time, you can always find it on my page. I'll start playing this one.
Six-pack game. Chris, why don't you start while we get his mic working? No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm a teacher. No, but we got to record, brother. Here, so hand it to me. Get some pop. I'm not going to. I don't have to see those lines. Here, use that. Hello, everybody. Hello. All right, Pittsburgh was a little better. Hello, everybody. Now it's thick. All right. Did you say something? It is. That's what you say these days, right? That's what you say these days. I shouldn't say that, though. Listen, it's the age of man now. I'm walking around the house all the time, calling my kids saying, well, what was that you said? It's not picking up. I use it for a few days. That's what's up. Yeah, so Lit just caught up with.
Make it full screen. Push play.
Just now. Lit is about to leave. That's when I usually catch up things. I get stuff off the clearance rack of words, right? So that's my big book, but it's keeping up. I am Chris Stewart. Online, I'm known as Citizen Stewart. I tweet a lot about education, specifically around issues pertaining to the 8 million Black children in the United States, who I always say are walking into public schools every day that were not built for them and are not ready to help them reach their highest potential. And I don't think that we have a more pressing problem than that to discuss, which mystifies me because it's the one thing we don't discuss in life. We allow people to get elected as mayors without ever touching an education question. We allow people to run for president without ever having to say anything about the 8 million Black children who are walking into public schools every day that aren't ready for it. That was great, brother. That was great. Yeah. Yeah, go Lions. Yeah. Don't Sharif El-Mekki, I'm from Philadelphia, West Philly to be exact. Great to be here. Excited to be here. I was a principal and a teacher for 26 years. I just left my school. It was a turnaround charter school in the neighborhood I grew up with. It was failing. It failed people's grandparents. It failed their children. And it was failing grandchildren. And some people were comfortable with that because they didn't have to put their kids there. They didn't live in that zip code. And so throughout my career, that's really been a big part of my work, is around this idea of educational justice and how mandating that people go to a zip code-based school is, everyone wants to talk about like what's anti-democratic, that's anti-democratic. So this idea of educational justice is one part of it. And the other one is this school activism pipeline, because I think that students and families aren't given transparent data enough so that they can make decisions about where they want to put their children. But the folks who have the data, they know exactly where they're putting their kids.
Thank you, Sharif. I'm Charles Cole. I'm out of Oakland.
Dr. Charles Cole.
Dr. Charles Cole.
Dr. Charles Cole.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You know what? Because when you say that, then people are like, oh, look at this bougie Negro, right? Calling himself doctor, right? Like, I don't do it, and then they do it. They're like, he said he was a doctor 3 times. I didn't say it. But anyway, I'm Charles Cole.
It's better when we say it.
I am Charles Cole from Oakland, California. I started my career as a social worker. I did work as a youth development organizer. I did work after that in the school district. I worked at Teach for America. And now I also sit on the board of UCSF Benioff Hospitals. We oversee $4 billion of hospitals in California, in the Bay Area. The Chase Center, where the Warriors play, is actually on our campus. And I was one of those kids that was failed. And I went to 11 schools. I went to 11 elementary schools. And a lot of those places, now that I know what quality looks like, I didn't experience quality. And y'all numbers just came out. And I don't think Black kids here are experiencing quality either. And I think folks are scared to talk about it. So tonight we're going to tell the truth and shame the devil. So with that, because Ray wanted to go last, I hope this mic still ain't working. So we're going to hand it over to Ray Republican.
Yes, I will confirm that I am a Republican. But I would have voted for it either. Look at their eyes. I'm so no, but listen.
I still don't believe it.
I'm not a Donald Trump Republican. I'm more like a John McCain Republican. It's different. Yeah, but still, it's under that umbrella.
All right.
I would have voted for Harry Reid and Harry Reid run for president.
That's what's up. Can you finish your introduction, Kanye?
All right, yeah, so I'm Ray Ingram. I am the superintendent of a charter school on Long Island, a Riverhead Charter School. I began teaching in 2003 in Baltimore City Public Schools. And so you can teach in Baltimore, you can teach anywhere. That's a fact. My first administration job was at Democracy Prep in Harlem, the flagship campus prior to anything else happening.
Is anything on the Agnes?
No. I'm giving them a plug. They got 31% proficient and 47% proficient in English and math, and that's better than the 20% proficient that Black folks over and around in
shade. Yeah, I think it is.
Shade. Listen, so even further. I'm a charter school advocate. Charter schools are public schools, so that's a misconception that they want y'all to have, is that any school that gets public funding is a public school, and charter schools get public school funding. My kids go to my school, right? So like, I'm not one of those people that's like, all right, well, I'm gonna be a principal of the school, but that school's not good enough for my kid to go there, right? I feel like that's extremely important. If you have leaders of schools, the leader of that school will tell you a lot about themselves if they will allow their kids to go to that school. That means you believe in it. That means that you believe in what you're doing, right? So anybody that makes an excuse about, oh, my kid doesn't go here because of this or because of that or whatever, you don't believe in the work you're doing. That's just my opinion.
Well, let me I'm about to say we got to get into the show. But first, before we get into the show, I want to disagree with that. I was a principal, and you know what? I got 6 kids. 3 of them, I ain't want to come to my school. I didn't want to see them in my school. I didn't want to get them to get the teacher. My teachers were being successful. And I got a daughter who she would be like, I don't care if my daddy upstairs and the principal watched it. Like, nah, she didn't need that. I believe that people should be able to choose what's the right situation for their child.
Okay, I'm a buzzer. And what you can do is, always go to my page, and I can share this on Twitter. It's on Twitter. And then I can also, where else can I share? I can share it anywhere. I can share here. It's LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Because I don't believe that I shared that publicly. And quite frankly, this is what we're able to do now. We're able to educate each other in real time and ensure that more of us have access to understand just what's going on. We have to put a voice in it. We have to, really get down and understand that it is us that is failing us because we are not following up on what we should be doing, ensuring that all children have access. And one more thing. Oh, getting tired. But I want to share with you. I need to go into my Gmail if it's going to take me here. Slow. So slow. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. Is it request for information? I'll just look here because I sent this guy in that Roman. I sent him what I had a concern about. Here we go. And I sent it to a couple of people. So just when it gets ready to open up, here we go. So I don't know how we get this information, but I just need to know where to find this information. Now, all I asked was, where can I find it on my own? Because, we're saying public information should be public. Then the public should have the ability to go and find this information, right? So Clark County School District, Adult Alternative Education Program. Clark County District conducts their Adult Alternative Educational Program for students who are on parole. Students attend these classes at Las Vegas Youth Parole Bureau, facilitated by this teacher, and it's supposed to enable them to continue their education. So I just wanted to know, where I'm going to find that information, and how am I going to find it? And for whatever reason, believe me, I am not getting a response. And it's kind of like, she says that, they need additional time. But I think that this was additional time in March. I originally requested it in February, see? And I ain't never going to get that data, and I believe that. Because, it's the federal government that requires the maintenance of effort. And it was part of the Every Child Succeed Act. Do I have that open somewhere? I don't know. No, I don't know. Let me see what that looks like. Because I think, the preschool enrollment was only like 333. I mean, you can't even see the number of kids truly in Clark County that are enrolled in preschool, because when you go through their files, their information is empty. They don't put anything on it. So when you go to look, good luck. Nothing really gets documented. And it's just, let me see. There's her. Let me see if I can find her. How many times I wrote her. What is her name? how to do this. I was just seeing what I want to do. Just being late with it. I just want to see how many requests that I had. Let's see. I couldn't be able to do that. Make sure she's added to my contact. But get on my nerves. I gotta push it just right. I just want to really not do anything here. But I have done other public requests for information and not gotten a response from Clark County. When I had filed this complaint against Clark County. And quite frankly, the deal is that I just had a concern. And it was my concern, it was nobody else's concern. So this is what I did. I filed a complaint. And I said, on May 24th, the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights received your complaint alleging Clark County School District is discriminating based on race, color, national origin, disability, whatever. And they quickly shut me down. But I just was saying what I had found because I had gotten no response from the district. And then 80% of this, somebody said it, 80% of the people. And, they actually have 15,000 homeless youth on the streets, and they're not doing well. And then this is what my statement said. They have little access to early services because I looked and they only had 330 compared to the 1,500 or 22,000 something of other nationalities. African American were only 330 children in early Head Start programs. And so, what do you do when I request the information? I don't get it. But then when I find it, it says 300, such a small number. So obviously it can't be happening in their local communities. That's just something that can't be happening because they don't have access. And then, what else did I say? This behavior, well, I showed you the 259% higher than any other ethnic group of the willful defiance issues. But, it's about transition. And then I just never got a letter saying that I didn't provide that information within a timely manner. And therefore, over, if you know what I mean, just over. And so I can't be the only one. I know that there are other people out there. But other people need to understand that for the past 20 years, I have been engaged in the public educational system and participated like an employee, but I was just a parent. And they paid for my transportation and go to workshops and conferences, and they paid for my training. And I learned how to advocate for my children. And I know that advocacy doesn't start with you sitting your ass at home. And it doesn't start with you just concerning yourself with the letter grade of F for your child, because our children are being socially promoted without making adequate yearly progress, and they're making prison beds based on the number of third graders who cannot read. But the real deal is that why is it that the federal government is not protecting the rights of our children when they can see the data is so disproportionate? No rights to advocacy, no rights for freedom, no rights for civil rights. I'm just tired of it. And we all need to get a clue. And people might not think that, my son said, oh, Mom, you're just Mom, but if I hadn't Mom gotten him through public school, he wouldn't be where he is today. And that means no criminal record and, employable, period. I don't know. We have to do a better job for ourselves. But this is going to require us to educate ourselves and spend some time. Like I said, follow me on Facebook. And I will say again, I'm on YouTube. Go through some of those YouTube videos. I've been going to board meetings for years. On my YouTube channel, here it is. If you go to my channel, there you go. I'll shrink this so you can see it. And this is my channel. And I have 225 subscribers. It's not a lot, but guess what? That's my channel. Black children and poor children and disabled children. But when you don't even use that money for them, and just let them go by the wayside. I think it's a problem. You can't lie to yourself about how all children have access, because simply you can see the real facts about how all children don't have access right now. And I don't even, I mean, I remember my sister asked me to help the young lady, and I tried to help her, but her mother was apologizing to me for being homeless and losing her housing, and then therefore her child had struggling in school. And she never told me about any of the support that she got from the school district or from the county or anyone to help her in the situation. And actually, she winded up when I didn't get a chance to really talk with her. But then what happened eventually was my niece came here for this break right year before the COVID thing happened. And she went to go see her girlfriend in that same day. Like child, her and the whole family was evicted because they were staying with someone and they were living with someone prior to in the same complex. So somehow, when the boyfriend got kicked out, she went to another girlfriend's house there in the same complex. But because she was living with the boyfriend, they locked up her stuff and took everything and wouldn't let her go back in the house and wouldn't let her get a plate, her children anything. And her children stayed with me and my mom for about a week. And then the mother was able to get a ride and take her children to somewhere. But I'm saying that what kind of support really is happening for these families who are struggling? Because at least in Sacramento, we have student outreach workers, and they collaborated with the Housing and Urban Development. So when a family became, I mean, you just have to make sure that the services are working. And at this point in my life, I cannot demonstrate that public education is actually working for all of our families. And so the only thing I can do is talk about what I know and what I've experienced over the years. And that's why I said that, I've done videos, but I've done videos and recorded videos in the community too, of public meetings, of, here in Clark County, they've been talking about how they're going to, redistribute the weighted beautiful formula. My problem was that they were supplanting. They were adding federal dollars to children who weren't really, generating those dollars. And they really just don't have the data. There's no data that demonstrates that they have a level of support that ensures all children actually even have access. And failure is just an option. So, when a child is so below grade level and they don't have anything that they do to intercede in that, then they're not doing anything. Just pay themselves. And so, until the next time, like I said, find me on YouTube or find me on Facebook, but please educate yourself. And I will stop for now. Stop the share and stop the recording.